Politicians are bought and sold. They give to the rich as they take from the old. They give to the rich as they rob from the young. On the end of their lines, at the point of a gun.
Hi, this is me, Deedigan, Truth versus Politics. Now, here's an interesting concept. What I want to do is ask the good people of the constituency of Chippenham what they think the priorities are for a local MP who might think about representing them, instead of prescribing what I think would be good ideas because, you know, I might get more votes. So, in our social hub today, we have these wonderful people. They don't have to name themselves, but I can't get to them. But I'm going to sit over here. Goodbye and welcome back. Now,
Oh, thanks for coming in.
well, thank you for being here. So we haven't pre-arranged this meeting. In fact, I've just sprung this on them because you fine gentlemen were sitting having a debate. This wonderful lady whose face we shall not see. You were having a debate, chewing the fat, talking about life, and I'm thinking what needs to happen is the representative should be representing the people's views and their thoughts and their values, as opposed to just saying stuff they think they get votes for. So, who wants to go first? Who would like to tell me what a big priority that me as an MP, imagine this, me as an MP, would be representing? What's the most important thing for you, sir?
Me?
Yeah.
Homelessness. I'm homeless through no fault of my own.
Right.
I split up with my partner and I was left with £7,500 worth of rent arrears.
Wow. Wow.
I didn't know I had £7,500 worth of rent arrears until I tried to get on the council list.
Right.
They did their background checks. Obviously this has come up because I was still on the tenancy agreement,
Right.
even though I wasn't living there.
Right.
But the thing with me is the landlady knew I wasn't living there.
Yeah.
The letting agents knew I wasn't living there.
Yeah.
But the council won't do anything for me because of the rent arrears.
Wow. Wow. That is
So at the moment, I'm trying to get myself, because obviously my ex-partner now lives in Scotland. She took out DRO for all their debts, including the rent arrears.
right.
But because I was still on the tenancy agreement, that debt is now passed to me.
Right. So it's interesting. We've done a national, because I work for an organisation called Kandu Arts. We did a national homelessness project, and I think that people might have their ideas why and how people become homeless. They don't. I think sometimes that people might think that people become homeless voluntarily, or it's a hobby, or they can't be bothered getting a house. Very rarely do they equate the fact that a lot of it's down to a breakdown in people's relationships. It's a massive issue. So for people out there thinking this, it's really important. You should research the statistics, I can't say that, about how people become homeless and why and how many people are homeless. Now, for me, particularly around Chippenham, there's a lot of building that's done. There's a lot of houses that are done that are, it's overbuilt around here. There's not social infrastructure. It's done because there's a railway and there's the M4 motorway, right?
Commuter route.
So if there was the need for housing, surely, and they shouldn't be building on county farms, but if they were going to do building, it should be social housing.
They certainly shouldn't have built on Bird's Marsh.
No, that's appalling.
Yeah.
So they're just selling off to the highest bidder, aren't they?
Yeah.
People who represent us don't care because they don't necessarily live around here.
I tell you in everything, I don't know if you're aware of it, Ed, the old Karma nightclub, they're
Yeah.
doing a lot of building work in there.
Yeah.
Allegedly it's meant to be being made into a bail hospital.
Yeah.
But me personally, like you say, shortage of housing. Can they put that into social
I don't say. Here's the interesting thing: is there shortage of housing? Because here's another statistic I want people to look at for themselves. There are more people with 2 homes than there are homeless people.
And the price for people that are on minimum wage.
Right. So if it's council housing, which the council is the people, yeah. So everyone knows we need homes, and we come up in situations at the drop of a hat we could become homeless, right? So actually, the priority to ensure, because we know, don't we, that, oh yeah, as human beings, we need shelter, whether it's shelter from the sun or the cold, you need shelter. So a basic need for a human being should be shelter. How we don't legislate for that in our councils and our government, for me, it's down to how much money can be made. I don't think you should be allowed to make money out of housing. Imagine that.
Well, like this chap's just said, he's homeless.
Yeah.
Can they make like Buds into a night shelter, Karma into a night shelter or something like that?
That's all well and good. Right?
Yeah.
I was offered a place in Unity House,
Yeah.
Yeah,
which is in a sitter.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that my stuff will be stolen. I know people that have been in there.
Yeah.
Everything they own gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, obviously, Unity House are trying their best, and
Yeah.
depending on who happens to be there. But we are talking about people sometimes severe challenges. What I'm saying is that if we had a equitable, equal, fair share of homes and houses for people, and that's right across the board, right? So that if people couldn't make money out, you couldn't buy a second home. Imagine if you couldn't, if we had a law in this country, you couldn't have a second home until everyone had one.
Politicians do, didn't they? So
Well, yeah, totally. So I'm
it's
saying,
good enough for them, it's good
yeah.
enough for us.
Okay, so we're talking about politicians and they're, and no, don't, no,
I'm
keep
only
talking.
kidding.
No, you're not kidding. It's true.
Yeah.
Here's
It
the
is
point.
true.
Yeah.
There are so many people that buy a house to rent it out,
Yeah.
and they pay the mortgage for that house, and then also the house that they're living in.
Yeah, absolutely. So
And
that's the
And
fact.
then all of their
That's-
wages are then
There you
just.
go.
Private
Fair
renting
money
costs
to rent.
is just through the roof.
So there should either be a cap on renting, so you can't, if you've got a private home, you can't keep putting the rent up, or we shouldn't be allowed to do it. Because here's the thing I would suggest about the government, about politicians. Instead of the politicians having these expensive second homes in Parliament, down in Westminster, down in London, why don't they build like student hostels, you know, like the halls of residence, specifically for MPs, so that they live in like an MP's hostel stroke hotel, which provides their food, they have the restaurant.
Yeah, it's similar to like a
catering.
supported housing program, except you wouldn't be supported housing. You have like a flat, a room, an ensuite, and then like a shared kitchen.
Yeah. Well,
Like-
I don't think I'd ever want to see them sharing kitchens, so I just don't trust them. They'll steal each other's milk.
Like,
What I'm saying
I
is,
lived in a foyer in Swindon when I was
Yes,
a teenager,
right.
and that was
yeah,
see that's a homeless
yeah,
shelter, and
Yeah.
that's where I was, and that I mean that was a good step up for me. But I would imagine that even at like a business level, it would work for students. It would work for
100%.
for a business that were living away
It
from
should
home.
work for MPs. So MPs, you go to Westminster, you don't need to live there because your constituency, in this case, is Chippenham. You should be spending, and obviously Calne, all the parts of the constituency aren't just Chippenham. So
Yeah.
the right across Bradford, Avon, whatever, the whole constituency. You should be, as an MP, going to those towns every week, working alongside the town councils, finding out what the priorities of people are.
Listen to the residents.
Listen to the residents. Don't have a party. Be an independent. Don't be Labour, Conservative. Well, who would ever want to represent Conservatives again? They must be sick. But the Lib Dems are just as bad. It's true. They've only proven to be really appalling.
They're only
Well,
out
absolutely.
They're out for themselves. They get double houses. So I'm saying, let's have a hostel for
Yeah.
MPs. They go down there when they're doing the votes and everything else. They've got a massive loads of bars, and the expenses is incredible and
My
immoral.
father, bless his heart, passed away last
Let's
year.
get you
He
some
always used
papers
to say
so
to
you
me,
can
whoever gets in
Yeah.
as MP to run this country,
Do you want to bring it over
they
here?
will all have their past policies and they will all have their good policies.
Yeah.
The majority of them are bad.
Their policy.
Well, because they're also puppets, aren't they? They're vested interests. So businesses, multi-billionaires, then that's the sickening itself, are financing their campaigns, so they get in, so they vote for, like in America, what the businesses want, not what the people need.
I still reckon my honest beliefs in that when Boris got into politics, he only got in via the London Mayor route because he was London Mayor.
And he was primed for that, because what they did with Boris and people like him is at a very young age they separated him from his mother, right? And they put him in places like Eton and what have you, so he was at the boarding school. So just any human being that's separated from their mother at an early age will have separation issues, and he shows that in his every move. So you become less empathetic, you become more sociopathic, and therefore you're primed to be a Conservative councillor or a member of Parliament because you don't have that connection with the emotions and the needs of human beings. One second, on that, sorry to cut across you. What other things would you say we're a priority? So housing's a massive one, isn't it? It's a massive need. What would you say?
Health service.
Health,
They're
right.
building thousands more houses.
Yeah.
Where's the doctors?
Right.
Where's the dentists?
Yeah. So just in our constituency, absolutely. Where are all the bits of social infrastructure, schools included?
Yeah.
Where are they? Right? Now, just so as an aside here, remember that we've had homelessness forever. It's not a new thing that's come about because people are coming across in boats. That's not the reason. They want you to think it is. Why haven't the Conservatives or any other formal government legislated for housing and health for all the centuries, all the years or whatever? Why has there always been this problem? Why is there always
There's no money in it.
is there money for them, you mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Everything is
You
built
look-
on capitalism.
Yeah.
You look, for
It's
example,
how much profit
What's
can
it?
we make? How much
Yeah.
can we make for our shareholders? How much sway can I get if I make money for them?
Yeah.
And it just
So
becomes a.
they want it to be a privatised health system like American. Can you imagine how? But one of the most proudest things, and I happen to use the National Health Service more than I ever have recently because I've had prostate cancer. I've been going to Bath Royal United. Big shout out to those people at Bath Royal United. They're amazing. I can't believe how amazing they are. And I also can't believe that we do not celebrate them. You know, we're clapping them on the Thursdays, weren't we? Back
Yeah.
during the COVID times. They were saving our lives. They were doing all these amazing shifts. They were looking after us, what have you. And then look at their pay settlements. They're appalling. So well before MPs who voted themselves another pay things. What I would want to do if I got elected is I'd use the money that they pay the MPs to set up projects in the constituents, so intergenerational projects, so you can actually give the people like, this is one, isn't it? This is a
Yeah.
social hub. You come here and you're a great user of it. All the people here use this facility here, right?
Oh, it's fantastic, I think, for all ages, and that's what
That's the
council
point.
should be there for,
Right.
to help all ages.
All ages,
Because
intergenerational.
everybody, no matter how old you are, can come across social problems.
Absolutely. Isn't
So
it right?
yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, whatever age you are, there's always a challenge around it. So social hubs like this, I would like to initiate in all areas of the constituency.
I've got to say that's one of the things I love about Chippenham, probably my favourite thing. When
Yeah.
I first moved to Chippenham, I had no idea about Kandu, and I, for all intents and purposes, where I was from over near Malmesbury, and everyone's a bit hoity-toity over there,
Yeah.
I found, and kind of looked down at Chippenham. It's better than Swindon,
Yeah.
but not,
Yeah.
it's not as nice as Malmesbury. When I moved here and discovered this place and
Yeah.
realised how much of a creative community there is
Oh,
and how many
yeah.
caring people there
Yeah,
are,
yeah.
I was just blown away. And
Yeah.
as you know, like I've pretty much come in here ever since.
Oh, bless
And
you.
you've seen Robin since she was absolutely tiny, and
Yes.
the kids enjoy coming in here.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed all
Yeah.
of the resources that you have.
Right, well
I
that's
think
really,
it's good.
fantastic. So, more spaces like this, not necessarily run by Kandu, but actually
I
accessible.
think every town should have some sort of community social hub.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Whether it's
100%.
that one down
Yeah.
by
Because a lot of people
Jack's
get
place,
lonely, lost. don't they?
here, yeah,
A lot of people get lonely, lost, and not know what to do.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
where to
Exactly.
go, where to ask for help.
Yeah,
Right.
and the thing I like
1,000,000%.
most about Kandu is that there isn't a hidden agenda. So for example, I take Robin to a lot of play groups that tend to be at churches,
yeah.
and as much as they don't want to shove anything down your throat, there is always
Staring
like
in
that
the
presence
background.
Yeah.
of there is a kind of agenda here.
Well,
and
there
if you
is-
can
they
go,
should be, I
we
get
might
it.
treat you a bit
I think
better.
definitely a good diversity of people. You know,
Yeah, I think
like
it's
getting to
nice
meet
that you
different
can
kinds of
just-
people,
yeah.
and just being like, actually, it's not all about one route. It's not about just two routes. It's about
Too right.
so many different like ways
Yeah,
of living that you
there's-
can come
there's no
together and actually.
preface.
And
So
no
what you
preface
want,
and no
really.
judgment on it,
Yeah.
right? Because we're all, so for me, community is common unity, that which unifies us commonly, right? So what unifies us commonly is we all need a house, we need a home, don't we?
Yeah.
We need a safe home.
Yeah.
Sorry Mark, you talked about health service. Well, we all need, and here's the latest track from the health service called My Brain is Flipping, that we need
Played by Robin.
we need a national health service where we respect the people that are dedicating their lives to looking after us all, for all generations, free at the point of need, as it was intended by Nye Bevan, wasn't it? Nye Bevan and the architects of it. One of the things that this country can genuinely be proud of, and is being sold away. If you look at the statistics, I can't say that word, I'm telling you, statistics of how much it costs to get a private nurse or private medical person in, yeah, to cover. So actually investing in the private health industry is an absolute appalling waste of money. We could employ more nurses and more care staff if we didn't use public money for private healthcare. What are you going to say, Phil? It better not be boring.
No, it's not about.
We'll vote. We'll do a vote.
It's not about Manchester City or anything like that.
Oh, come
right?
on.
But we can talk about that. You've seen the video I sent you on WhatsApp this morning. My point, two, right? Main one being, yeah, I think there should be more rights for people with disabilities, because the Tory government are now on about bringing it in really stronger again to stop people from claiming the pit and things
Great.
like that.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly. They try to cut that down.
Mental health
Yeah.
is not recognised
No.
as a disability. It should damn well be
Well,
recognised.
absolutely. And you need someone to sort that fractured wrist of yours. What were you going to
The
say?
thing is, I think that there's a big umbrella over like what mental health is.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes under one thing,
Yeah.
but we have to remember that there's different types of people that can, like, some people can listen more, some people can talk more,
Yeah.
some people can like react more, some people can do more things than others can.
Yeah.
And it's like, for example, the home situation. For me, I'm looking for a place where I can be an individual and have a normal life, not
Yeah.
feel like I'm having to be pressured under the act of mental health.
Yeah.
Even though I do have mental health problems,
Yeah.
I think the thing is that being able to move forward without feeling like you're stuck in that kind of rut, you know?
Yeah.
Like places like this is amazing. Good homelessness as well, because that comes under a lot of things as well, you know,
Yeah.
people with like
Yeah.
actual physical medical care.
Yeah.
But definitely finding a way, like you were trying to find a way to realise what we could do with that all money situation and stuff like that's going on in England.
Right, so that's it. So bizarrely, since 2003, we've been trying to turn the Neil Hall into a place like this, but on a bigger scale. So it's open 7 days a week. It's opened for all different community members, right? Not just for performances, but for workshops, for social spaces that people need. At the time, 2003, we were told by the then Lib Dem councillor, Mayor Desmond Allen, who is still a councillor, that she was going to give us all sorts of help. We never got 1 second of her help. We tried to get the new incumbent, who was the last mayor, Liz Olstrom, who was a Lib Dem.
Yeah.
We got her in here, got her into the other
We
space.
do quite a lot though. We opened up a lot of things for youngsters.
Right, let me explain something to you. You know what we do. We work right across the community, have done for 25 years. We said all these things to Liz Olstrom about how we wanted to set the thing to get the money so that we can turn that place into a social space, use 24 hours or use at least 7 days a week. 2 years went by, we never heard a word from her. Right, so all well and good that you will see her doing loads of photo ops and supporting this, that and the other, but when the push comes to the shove, she toes the party line, and that's the problem with having people who are in Lib Dems, Conservative, Labour, you name it. They're in a party, they don't represent the people, they represent the party.
Yeah, they need to represent
Right.
at least the balance of it at least.
Totally, but if they're in, for instance, during...
There should be some sort of normality. Like,
Love you, see you guys, bye.
there should be some sort of normality.
Right.
But also it is important to have somewhere like that they can be creative and stuff like that.
100%. So imagine a big place like the Neil
Like
Hall, which
this.
is supposed to be for the people, but made like this in different rooms and whatever. Now here's the thing. So it's the cost of living crisis, the energy crisis, all privatised. Remember that all those services, utilities, used to be owned by the people. Thatcher came in and said, "Hey, got a great idea. This is a great idea. Let's sell it off. Who can afford those shares? Not poor people, not the normal people. People with disposable income. Buy those shares, make money out of it.
Yeah.
It's a crime against humanity to make money out of housing, heating, water. right? It's absolutely disgraceful. Tesla, Nikola Tesla, who did the AC, DC, whatever, electric, great Croatian. He wanted it to be free, right? It was the guy that did Westinghouse, one of those guys that wanted to charge for it. The idea that we shouldn't have to pay, or at least if it's owned by the country as it was, all those resources, the water companies, etc., they wouldn't be able to keep raising the because we'd own it. We'd say, well, we're only going to pay for as much as it costs.
Yeah.
No dividends being paid out, right? No dividends to shareholders. So the same thing here with the Neils Hall. It was proposed to be a warm space for the community to use. You know the foyer?
Yeah.
Do you know that in the foyer there's a public toilet in there?
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah.
You knew that?
Yeah.
Perfect. Most people don't. So that's a public space. It was proposed for it to be a warm space for the community during last winter. Because there's a nice little art gallery there sometimes, just a place to sit and keep warm. It was voted down by the Liberal Democrats. Appalling.
Warm space.
Appalling. So you can't go in there and just keep warm.
I have
I've
been in
I've
there.
always
Yeah.
thought there should be a place like that.
Thank
Or
you.
at least a few places.
Liz Ulstrom and all her mates and Lib Dems all voted against it. Look at it's terrible. So whatever they might say in public, where they're doing photo ops, it isn't true. And we know at first hand, they have absolutely acted against the best interests of the hardest to reach or the most challenged in our society. That's what the Lib Democrats, and of course I don't need to talk about the Conservatives because they've destroyed their own reputations. So we've got housing, we've got health. What are you going to say?
I'm going to say one more thing regarding people with disabilities and stuff.
Yeah.
Right. As I say, they're going to bring these proposals in. If they stay in, to make it even more tough now for people to get these disability benefits.
Yeah.
Right. People that have long-term disabilities. Right. One of the Tory ministers, I don't know who it was, whether it's that bold idiot Ian Duncan Smith or whatever his name is, can't remember, he's no longer a politician. He was the one that magicked all these like medical benefits up.
Yeah.
Right, people who've had long-term conditions and have now, right, another politician said we're not going to let them go through that process again. Mine is long-term,
Yeah.
so
I think
if
that
these
goes
put-
back,
yeah.
that goes back to the
Right.
structural like
yeah,
workings out
yeah,
of this
they're
like
going to make it
country,
even
isn't
more
it?
tougher now.
It's
But
the actual structure.
they brought it in where I don't know, I think they brought it in where they're not, where they shouldn't be sending people with long-term health conditions
To go through those trials. and
stressful.
tribulations. Yeah.
That stressful
Meanwhile,
situation.
£14 billion is unaccounted for due to the COVID pandemic. A lot of it
So it's unseen.
given to people connected to government, apparently, that set up companies to provide PPE, right? That turned out not to be very. They weren't even companies that did it before. Suddenly got on the bandwagon. £14 billion is unaccounted for, and Richie Sunak, or Itchy Ballsack as I like to call him, isn't trying
It's awful.
to account for it. They're absolute con artists. Right, Pat, have you got anything to say?
Step for
What
words,
would you
yeah.
like in the community more
Right,
done?
a friend of mine, in that is, he's got vegetables, fruit, flowers, doing some exotic plants and that. People to get into doing get allotments and
Yeah.
in that. I was watching the news the other night where my mates, in that, I think it was Bath, might have been Bristol, the chap who owned the land, he wanted to stop the lease for the allotment, and there's this chap who's been there 61 years working on that allotment, and it's not fair on him. It's not.
Yeah. So,
Alan Sugar started on
did he?
In there.
He had that much produce that he couldn't
Still
sell
at
it.
50.
Yeah.
He wasn't allowed to
Yeah.
sell it. You're not allowed to sell
Wouldn't he
produce from
give
allotment.
wouldn't he give a nine or something like
But
that?
you could, he used to sell the boxes.
Well,
You
well,
buy the
produce,
boxes
well,
for the thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
That's
invite,
how that man
we'll
became
invite
a
Mr.
millionaire.
P along. He'll tell you a lot about Alan Sugar.
Yeah. Anything else before we shut? Is everyone happy for this to go out? You
Yeah,
happy with what
true,
you
right.
said? You're not.
Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
going to say one more thing.
Shops.
I don't
Shops
know
and
if
Chippenham.
you
Shops and
want it
Chippenham, yeah.
recorded,
Yeah.
you know, and I always have to crack with you about this. You feel so bitter about them down in the town council when
Yeah.
you told them about the acts.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, about
And the
about
old
ceremonial
film.
wigs. Yeah, about the ceremonial wigs and hats. Right. Do you want to say anything?
Yeah, one more thing. I don't know if I'm come on or not. Oh, sorry. I can't be involved to be, but I reckon there definitely should be places for youngsters that want to make a difference, like sort of like this, but a bit more my age,
Yeah.
and definitely more women involved.
Yes.
So we can
Yeah.
we can see about trying new ways of living. You know, like making friendships and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Need a bigger place. And it
Well, the Niels Hall would have been a good
Well,
thing.
Yeah.
Right, so,
Really?
public performance is brilliant. So we should write this down then, but this will go out, what day is it today? Probably go out next Monday
Wednesday.
on
Wednesday.
Ed Deedigan, Truth versus Politics. Sam's sitting there again. This isn't on the Kandu thing. No,
Vote
it's
me
not.
in, vote me
Tell,
in.
tell us
Right.
about the hats.
No, we'll take it the next time. So, but
Alright.
we should meet regularly and get more people involved because I'm literally want to write a, what do you call it,
Well,
what's it called, manifesto.
you
Manifesto, one second, a manifesto based on what real people want as opposed to what people who want to get elected think they should say.
Okay. Yeah.
Right,
What
and
we
you've told
want
me
to
to, because
get.
you've told me these things.
You-
Housing,
the
health,
barriers-
mental
The
health.
barriers that are put up against people, what they're
Banners,
fulfilling their pledges,
like
Yeah.
politicians fulfilling their pledges,
Yeah.
the barriers that are put up, it's too long.
Yeah.
By the time you get that
one
through
with
Parliament,
vote this
Actually,
money.
Yeah.
I think actually
you
being
That's
won't,
genuine,
be, you won't be in Parliament.
Shut it.
genuinely being
So-
I've
genuine.
got to say one thing about the Lib Dems, and I'm going along with you on this.
Yeah,
They're corrupt. Me and Mark know a certain person
yeah.
that was.
Well, they're not all corrupt. There are some who are
Well,
really
this
decent.
guy
Well,
was,
no, let's be fair. That just because they're a Lib Dem doesn't mean they're corrupt.
Oh no.
Or a
no,
Conservative doesn't mean they're a bad person, but you'd wonder why they were part of that party.
Yeah.
Because my
This-
evidence is,
Yeah, so
I
it's
don't
sort of
think that they're
it's
corrupt
sort of
necessarily.
like who is your leader?
Yeah.
Who do you believe in and why?
Yeah,
Or what do you believe in and why?
yeah,
So if you believe in you know, like being healthy,
Yeah.
what would you eat and why?
yeah,
You know, who would you listen to? What books would you read? Stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Or if you're, I don't know, if you like a certain person, why do you like that person? Doesn't mean anything other than that, but like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
Reality,
Right,
actual
truth
reality.
on the level.
Yeah.
What you saying?
This guy,
Yeah,
right, was a local Lib Dem council.
yeah,
You know who I'm going to say about.
yeah. We're not going to say his name, are you?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
got onto the Lib Dem council
Yeah.
and tried to represent the Hill Rise ward.
yeah,
It's quite clearly to see, it's all plastered over the internet.
yeah.
And they kicked him out because he had a criminal record for stealing from his employer. That's corrupt, isn't it?
Well, because he was kicked out.
He's kicked out.
Did you think
They
he?
found out about his
because he
conviction.
didn't
He didn't say that.
He didn't say that and
Right.
start joining.
Okay, well that's a shame. So the deputy, the Crown Commissioner last time had a conviction, he didn't say it, and then we had to spend millions of pounds having a re-election. Right, can we put a stop to that right now? Thank you everyone, that's a wrap. Well done people.
We'll work and we'll work till the end of our days to keep the few in their comfortable ways. We'll do as we're bid, 'cause we're programmed that way till the switch is switched and we all have our say.